I'm alive.
Fucking hell! Well. Another wild fucking hellbound. I have no idea.
Okay, now I need myself comfortable again.
Ish.
Because it's going to take 3 hours. I think. Well, at least an hour and a half. You're looking at the coupons, aren't you?
Yeah, like just to start.
Okay. Make yourself comfortable. Are you comfortable?
I like the floor.
Okay, but are you comfortable?
I want crush!
Yes, you may.
Thank you.
Are you comfortable?
Yes.
Then I shall begin. I hoped that when we were back in our cosy flat, I would feel better. But somehow it didn't feel cosy anymore. For a start, it was so small. We got used to the flat.
Sorry, I'll turn that down.
No, it was almost as if the flat had shrunk. Something had happened to the furniture too. Had it always been quite so shabby? Had the furniture always shagged so badly? Had the table always been so scratched and stained? Stop it. Stop it. And what was the matter with the walls? I mean it! Lucy, stop it!
Fine. Ow.
We'd always had a damp patch on the ceiling. You can actually turn it up if you want, I don't mind. But it seemed to have spread. And there were the little black dots of mould everywhere. The window sills were stained and the doors were stiff and wouldn't shut properly. Half the posters and drawings were blue tacked to the walls.
What?
Had slipped and either hung at drunken angles or lay crumpled on the floor. Mum and I stood holding hands, breathing heavily. The flat smelled mouldy. Alfie padded around the flat warily and then bounded back to my side, giving little inquiring woofs. It was clear as day as he was asking when we were going home. He didn't know that was home. Oh God, said Mum. It'll look better when we put all our ornaments back, I said. The whole place will have to be scrubbed from top to bottom. We ought to open all the windows too, but it was cold. It was a lovely spring evening, but somehow it felt like the dead of winter. Mum switched on the electronic fire and then found 2 plates and a couple of forks. We'd better eat our fish and chips before they go cold, she said. She switched on the television because the flat seemed so empty, even with the 2 of us and a dog. We needed lots more voices filling up the space so we didn't feel so lonely. We ate the fish and chips and Mum made us a mug of tea, though we had to have it black because we hadn't bought any milk. We warmed up a little. I suppose I'd better get started on the cleaning, said Mum warily, but she flopped on the sofa instead. I flopped beside her, and then Alfie came and nestled up to me. At last it started to feel cozier. Maybe I'll do the cleaning first thing tomorrow, said Mum, pouring hot water bottles in our beds to warm them. I went into Mum's bed anyway, and Alfie lay on a cushion at the end. I was so worried about him. I sneaked him out after dark so he could have a wee. I told him over and over again that he had to be quiet, but he was so happy to get out of the flat he started barking joyfully. And when the grumpy old man at the end of our balcony peered out, Alfie lifted his leg and watered an empty KFC carton left near the rubbish chute. Filthy beast, I'm telling the council. You've got a dog, Jess Beaker. Dogs are not allowed. You know that, the man said. Please don't tell. He's only here for a little while. I promise. I won't let him wee all over the place anymore. I gabbed, but he wouldn't listen. Alfie, you have to learn to be quiet, I said. But he barked in the lift. He barked running around the marble tower, and he did 3 more wheeze and a poo. I did my best to clean up after him, but several ladies from the ground floor leaned out of their windows and shouted at us. I don't understand the language, but it was plain they'd seen and were complaining bitterly. It was no use getting cross with Alfie for being noisy and making a mess. He couldn't help it. He was a dog, and all dogs behave like that. He just seemed a bit noisier and messier than most. And try as I might to keep him a secret, it looked as if quite a lot of people would be emailing the council about him. In the middle of the night, he started whimpering in his sleep, just tiny noises, and I knew he was probably just dreaming of chasing squirrels. But the sad sound broke my heart. I crawled carefully out of bed, worried about waking Mum because she'd been tossing and turning, and it had taken her a very long time to fall asleep. I scrunched up, knit really small, and laid down on the cushion with Alfie, curling myself right round him. He licked my hand happily, squirmed into the comfiest position possible, and went back to sleep. I wasn't at all comfortable, but Alfie had stopped whimpering. It was cold without any covers, but Alfie was as warm as a hot water bottle, so I cuddled him close. Perhaps I whimpered in my dreams too, because much later I woke up to find Mum tucking the duvet over me and then stroking my hair. Go back to sleep, darling, she whispered. Sing to me, Mum, I begged sleepily. She always used to sing when I couldn't sleep. Baby, she teased, but she quietly sang all my favourites. How much is that doggy in the window? Hound dog, and who let dogs out? I drifted off to sleep. When I woke up again, I could hardly move because I was so stiff. I had to shuffle into the bathroom like a little old woman. Mum was already up and washed and dressed, sitting at the table with a mug of black coffee, tapping away on her phone. You're not texting Sean Jeffrey, are you? I asked. No, I'm texting Karen to let her know we're back. Back here, said Mum, and I'm asking if she'll have Alfie today while I go job hunting. I've checked our bank account and we're okay for a bit, but I need to start earning now. Still, we'll manage, you'll see. Come here, sweetheart, let me give those shoulders a rub. I wiggled as Mum massaged me. She soothed most of the outside aches, but she couldn't make all the knots of worry inside unravel. I hadn't thought about money. Maybe we should have kept our diamond ring. It was probably worth a lot of money. Yep, I could have sold it and have enough money to keep us going for ages. And said Mum, I've still got the keys to Sean's house. Shall I sneak back and grab it? Yes, do it, I says, but she was only joking. No, we're going to manage by ourselves, she says. Right, let's make you and Alfie some breakfast. It'll be a bit weird because I haven't been to the shops yet. It was actually quite a good breakfast. I had dry cornflakes because we didn't have any milk, but Mum let me sprinkle raisins on them for a treat. Then she found a tin of peaches and shared them with me. I'm not having any girl going to school hungry, she said. She didn't let her Alfie go hungry either. At the back of the cupboard she found an old can of mince and gave him a few spoonfuls. Alfie was very appreciative and wolfed it down quickly. He loves it, Mum. Could he have a little bit more, I asked. No, that's enough for now. It'll make a cottage pie for supper with the rest. We have to be dead economical until I get a job. Can't you just go back to looking after Ava and Alice, I asked. I texted Maria earlier, said Mum, but she said she was ever so sorry, but she wanted to keep Maria Tresemme now.
Read.
That's so mean when you had
Read.
that job first, I says. And you're her best friend. George Sanso. She tried to be kind. She offered me some money to keep me going.
What are you doing?
Did you say yes? No, of course not. We don't need anyone else to keep us going, Jess. We're beakers. We're going to stand proud and be independent, said Mum. I don't feel I was standing up proud when I went into school. My legs were so wobbly, I wasn't sure they could support me. Everyone was staring. They all knew already. Some were nudging each other and whispering stuff about me, their eyes gleaming. Some looked concerned, and several of the girls actually came and put their arms around me. That was somehow worse. It's okay, I kept saying. We're fine. It's good to be back home. It wasn't that great at Sean Joffrey's. They rolled their eyes, pitying, not believing a word of it. Even Miss Oliver knew. Maybe Cam had texted her. She didn't say much, but she patted me lightly on the shoulder as she walked past my desk. Tiggs. At a lunchtime, she beckoned me over for a little word. How are you doing, Jess? She asked. I'm fine, Miss Oliver, I said. That's good. And Mum? She's fine too. She's going to sort everything out and show Joffrey that we're fine without him. I'm sure she will. She's a woman of great character, your Mum, said Miss Oliver. She looked out for me in the playground too. The other kids kept going on about Sean Joffrey, asking why he'd broken it off with Mum. He didn't. She dumped him, I insisted, but they wouldn't believe me. Tyrone still didn't believe me either, which was dead irritating, seeing as if he was supposed to be my friend. He went on and on about Sean Joffrey until my ears shivered at the sound of his voice. Will you stop it? I burst out and ran off to the peace garden. I sat on the bench by myself, wondering how Mum was getting on. I was worrying about Alfie too, though I knew Cam would make a fuss of him. I was missing him dreadfully. I tried to summon up Wolfie and Faithful and Pom Pom and Snapchat for comfort, but they wouldn't come alive properly. They were pale shadows of themselves, scarily visible in the sunlight. I tried whistling them a magic tune that had always made them come running, but they stayed as still as statues. Not a bark, not a lick from any of them. That's a pretty tune, said Miss Oliver, coming into the garden and sitting down beside me. I didn't know you could whistle, Jess. Mum taught me, I said. I can do a wolf whistle too. Want to hear it? Maybe not just now, she said. We didn't say very much more, but it was comforting sitting together all the same. I wasn't the slightest bit scared of Miss Oliver. Now, you can't really be in awe of anyone once you've seen them in their swimsuit. Mum was late coming to collect me, not just 5 minutes late, more like 15. I stood there by the school gate, nibbling the skin on my bottom lip, wondering where she was. What else had gone wrong? Had Alfie run away? Had our flat been vandalised as well as our old car? Had Mum gone back to Sean Joffrey? I fidgeted from one foot to the other, banging my thighs with my clenched fists. I closed my eyes and counted to 100. But when I looked at the road again, I couldn't see the Cadillac. What if Mum had an accident? Maybe she'd started crying again and her eyes were too blurry to see her properly and she smashed a car. My tummy was so tight and painful I had to bend over. Jess, said Miss Oliver. Jess, Miss Oliver was standing beside me. My tummy hurts, I said, straightening up gingerly. You poor thing, try taking a few deep breaths. Mum's late, I said, sucking in my breath. Breathe through your nose, not your mouth. Don't worry, I'm sure she'll be fine. She's probably just got held up in traffic. And just as Miss Oliver was saying this, I saw a gleam of pink in the distance. I breathed in. I breathed out. My tummy unknotted, and Mum knew
100!
Drew up beside me. What?
I closed my eyes and counted to 100.
Oh,
Not literally!
literally.
It was like 100. I was just like, where did I come from?
She was looking anxious. I'm so sorry, Jess. Was she getting in a state, Miss Oliver? I know I shouldn't park here, but I needed to get to her as soon as possible. That's all right, Miss Beaker. Tracy, I was just keeping Jess company. Miss Oliver paused. I'm sorry, things didn't work out, she added softly. Oh well, said Mom, shrugging. That's life. You're dancing along on a gold pavement and then suddenly, whoops, there's the banana skin. I'm sure you'll be dancing again soon, said Miss Oliver. You and Jess doing your own two-step. I don't quite follow all this dancing stuff, but they smiled at each other. Thanks for staying with Jess anyway, Miss Oliver, said Mum. And Mary out of school, she said. Thanks, Mary, said Mum, and she nodded at Miss Oliver, while I blinked in surprise. Are you making friends with Miss Oliver, Mum? I asked when we drove off. Looks like it, she said. She's Cam's friend as well. I know, Cam told me. She's my friend too, out of school. Hey, guess what, Jess, said Mum. I've got a job already. I told you I would, didn't I? Oh, Mum, you're brilliant. What is it? It's not that brilliant. I'm going to be working in a cafe near the bus station. It's called the Silver Spoon, as opposed to Greasy. I went there for a cup of coffee at lunchtime, as I've been all round the shopping centre looking for jobs, without any luck at all. It was a bit humiliating, really. One clothes shop was advertising for assistant, and this girl half my age looked me up and down and said, "Oh dear, I don't think you're really the right type for this sort of work." What a cheek, I said loyally. Well, she's probably right, said Mum. I tried 2 shoe shops and a Wetherspoons and a paper chase, with no luck. And then I started trumpeting the high street. I saw an advert on the back of a bus saying they needed more drivers, and I thought it might be cool to be a bus driver. But when I went to the station, they said that once I've been trained to have to do shift work, and Tiggs!
What?
Stop it! You're distracting.
Well, what the hell's that thing?
It was a timetable for Kieran back when he was at college.
Yes, I don't go to college anymore, so yeah. It's just a memory.
You can stay there now then. Thank you. I started this paragraph again! Well, she's probably right, said Mum. I tried 2 shoe shops. What are you doing, Tiggs? Tiggs, what are you doing? Okay. I tried 2 shoe shops and I went to... You're moving up to me say a word, aren't you? Why? You're distracting.
Force feed.
Thank you. I tried 2... shoe shops and Wetherspoons and a paper chase, with no luck. And then I started trumpeting the high street. I saw an advert on the back of a bus saying they needed more drivers, and I thought it might be cool to be a bus driver. But when I went to the station, they said that once I'd been trained, I'd have to do shift work. So I explained I couldn't do that with a child at home. So then I felt a bit fed up and went to the cafe.
I don't know what he's doing. I think he's doing photo services. Photo services! Photo services! Photo services!
Saying so. I said to the old guy behind the counter that it looked like they needed more staff, and what about taking me on? What are you doing now? Looking like you're humping the couch. Unsilent. What are you doing?
I don't like being silent.
Okay. Stop distracting me then.
That was a hooch bag.
Yeah, I'm just gonna do that. And he has. Just like that. And that's why I'm so like picking you up. I've been working the last 3 months. They've taken me for a month's trial. The money's not great, but it'll keep us going. And I dare say I'll get a few leftover sandwiches to take home for our tea. Leftover cake? And leftover cake? Kids, do not move! Or you trying to go boom? That's gonna say. So stay down.
Ow.
And lift up a cake, I asked softly. Oh, Mum. Well done. Cam gave Mum a big hug when we got to her place. She gave me a hug too. We sat on the sofa, one on either side of her, and she put an arm around each of us. My girl, she says. Oh, Cam, said Mum. Do you think I'm crazy leaving Sean? No, I think he's crazy while I'm playing around behind your back. I got a job in a cafe, said Mum, but the hours are 8 till 4. How will I manage with Jess and school? And what about Alfie? I can't take him to the cafe, and the council are going to come after us soon anyway, because we're not allowed pets. But it will break just as hard if we can't keep him. Yes, it will, I says, and I clutched Alfie close. I had a tight pain in my chest, as if my heart had started cracking already. Hey, stop the wailing, you two, said Cam. You know perfectly well we'll get everything sorted out. Perhaps there's a breakfast club at Jess's school and some kind of homework club. I'll look after Alfie. He's been no trouble at all today. Well, apart from a little accident and a sneaky bite of my cheese and onion pastry. Still, he'll make our sad Rosie laugh, and that was marvellous. You're a star, Cam, said Mum. That's ever so kind of you, Cam. But he would still be my dog, wouldn't he? I asked. Of course, I'll just be his foster mum. I'm good at that, she said. I hung in onto Alfie as long as I could, but when the dreaded letter from the council came saying we were in breach of our tenancy, we had to get rid of our dog. I packed his cushion and ball and tuggy toy and all his food and took him to Cam's. I cried all the way home, though I knew I was going to see him the very next day. It was all fixed. After school, Mum took me to Cam's, and I made a gigantic fuss of Alfie, and then took him for a long walk and gave him his supper. You do know you're still my dog, Alfie, I said. Alfie bounded round me and licked my knees to show me that of course he knew. I didn't go to the breakfast club, even though Mum had to drop me off at school at 7:30. I went to my own private breakfast club with Miss Oliver. She always liked to come into school early to prepare all her lessons, so I sat in the classroom with her. I helped tidy the stationery cupboard and sharpen all the crayons, and checked that the library books were in alphabetical order, and feed sweet corn the class hamster. Then Miss Oliver made a cup of tea for both of us. We had marmalade sandwiches just like Paddington. During class time, Miss Oliver was my teacher. But before school, she was my friend. And on Sunday morning, while Mum was having a lie-in, I went swimming with Miss Oliver and Cam. Tyrone jeered at me for being a teacher's pet, but I didn't care. We weren't really friends anymore now. He just went on about Sean Joffrey all the time, which was really annoying. Can't you get it into your head that I can't stick Sean Joffrey, I said, and neither can my mum. We're much better off without him. You're mad, Jess Beaker, said Tyrone. Sean says you're mad too. You and Tracy Beaker. He says he's better off without you. Sean's my mate now. He calls me Buddy. He doesn't call any of the other boys that. It was probably because Sean Joffrey couldn't remember his real name. But I was pleased to hear that Tyrone still went to his club. However, that didn't mean I wanted to hear him showing off
the sky buttons.
I know.
Slid.
I was in the corner of my eye. I was like, that's gonna. I know. I noticed that. It's like, stay up there. Stay. Okay. It was probably because Sean Joffrey couldn't remember his real name. But I was pleased to hear that Tyrone still went to his club. However, that didn't mean I wanted to hear from him showing off about it all the time. Fred and Margie at the Silver Spoon wanted Mum to work on Saturdays too. I went to Cam's where I could spend all day with Alfie, and that was bliss. Instead on coming into the loo with me. Oh, Alfie followed me around everywhere. He even insisted on coming into the loo with me. He made it plain that he was okay living with Cam and the girls, but he'd much rather be with me. But then the next Saturday, Miss Oliver asked Cam if she'd like to join her at her rambling club. Rambling, said Mum, with a lot of old folk with bubble hats and socks outside their trousers and pointy sticks. Yes, and when I get my own pointy stick, I'll give you a good poke with it.
That just sounds wrong in another level.
I know, that's what I was like.
Poke, 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 poke.
I went wrong, said Cam. Okay, don't tease. I just fancied the idea, that's all. I don't think it's the rambling you fancy, said Mum, and Cam went pink. You were thinking Jess and Alfie would come too. It'll be too far for Jess. They walk all day, but we could come home on the bus at lunchtime. No, Jess can come to the Silver Spoon with me. She can be our Saturday girl. Margie won't mind. She loves kids, said Mum, but she draws the line at dogs. So on Saturday, Alfie went off hiking with Cam and Miss Oliver, and I went to the Silver Spoon with Mum. Don't mind Jess, do you don't mind Jess, do you? She's a good little kid and great at helping out, says Mum. She can butter the bread for the sandwiches and spread the fillings and do a bit of waitressing. She'll never spills anything. What a little love, said Margie, giving me a hug. Look at you, spitting image of your mum. You've even got her lovely curly hair. I decided I liked Margie. She was an old lady with a flowery apron over her jumper and trousers. Her own hair was rather thin and straggly, but she wore a lot of bright red lipstick to look cheerful. I didn't like Freddie anywhere near as much. He could wear all the lipstick in the world and he never looked cheerful. He was small and thin, with a frowny, pinched face. He frowned even more when he peered at me. She can't help out. Child labour is not allowed. Will be reported to health and safety, he said. Well, okay, she can sit at a table and read a book or do some drawing, said Mum. She's brought a satchel of stuff with her. Oh, the pets, said Margie. Table stuff for customers, said Fred. Well, Jess can be a blooming customer, said Mum, starting to get angry. I'll buy her a cup of tea every hour. How about that? It's still not right. You can't take a kiddie in to work with you. Well, I have, so you'll have to put up with it. You watch your tone, Tracy. You're only here on trial, you know. Lighten up, Fred.
That was not funny, because that was my funny bone.
Said Margie. Little Jess wouldn't be no trouble.
It wasn't that funny! It was painful! She's unable to continue! She's unable to continue! Kieran, you made us spill the beans!
I ate beans yesterday. Okay.
Done. One word!
That was so. Oh, you done?
I just said done.
Oh, okay. Concentrate.
That will be difficult. There you go. Sorry. Center stage. Really, Tiggs? Center stage.
Boring. Think of boring things. You'll watch your tone, Tracy. You're only here on a trial, you know. Lighten up, Fred, said Margie. Little Jess won't be no trouble. I tried to squash myself into a corner and look harmless. I was scared Fred might sack Mum on the spot and it would all be my fault. None of the customers seemed to mind me being there. Margie had a little cluster of regulars. think that's Marge, actually. No, it's
Should I
not.
check?
No, it's not. It's Margie.
Oh!
How do you say that name? Margie.
Yeah, it's Margie.
Margie, I'm saying it right.
You
Had-
are saying it right.
A little cluster of regulars, mostly old ladies like her, and they made a beeline for my little table at the back and talked to me. One of them even insisted on buying me a big jam donut.
Nice.
When I didn't have anyone to talk to, I read the 101 Dalmatians, and then I did some drawing. I copied one of the Dalmatian pictures, though I didn't attempt 101 of them. Next, I drew Alfie winning. Alfie sitting up and begging. Alfie lying on his back. Alfie asleep. I hoped he wasn't getting tired out on his long ramble. By this time, I was getting a bit tired of drawing, so I just sat and watched people. I liked seeing Mum dashing around, chatting to the customers as she served them. Silence all at the minute. She was very popular with the bus drivers when they popped up for a fry-up and a cup of tea. She was always quick with the banter, and she piled their plates up high. 3 rashers, 2 eggs, 2 sausages, 5 tomatoes, baked beans, black pudding, and hash browns.
What?
Yeah.
That's a lot. You're making me hungry. I've already heard my belly like so many times.
Go get your sauce and eat.
I want to hear what's fair.
Then shush!
I am shush.
I meant, who? Over there. They cheered when they saw their plates, but Fred frowned. You're giving them far too much, he growled to Mum.
Ground.
Growled.
Road.
It says growled. Growled.
Growled.
Oh, growled.
Growled. Growled? Growled?
I'll say growled.
I say growled as well.
Yeah, growled to Mum. But if they keep their platefuls good value, they'll keep coming back, and they'll tell their mates too, said Mum. She was great with the mums when they came in with their huge buggies. She always made a fuss of the babies and toddlers and was happy to warm up their food from home. She slipped the children feed toasted soldiers to keep them quiet while their mums drank their coffee and shared a chocolate brownie. They take up half the calf and sit there nattering a full hour or more for the price of 2 coffees and 1 cake. Fred complained. Where's the profit in that, Tracy Beaker? Quit nagging her, Fred. She's doing a grand job, said Margie. But she wasn't too happy when Mum started chatting to all her old lady friends, refilling their teapots with nothing and letting them show her photos of their grandchildren. It's lovely that she's such a friendly person, but I'm having to do most of the serving here while she's sitting down with Susan and Kath and Marilyn. Margie murmured to Fred. I signalled to Mum, but she just winked at me, happy to be so popular. I tried not to worry and wandered over to the window to distract myself. I started counting all the passers-by, but there were far too many. People dashing to and fro to catch buses, and ladies hurrying towards the shopping centre. So many ladies, in jeans and t-shirts and denim jackets, in loose tops and leggings, and smart suits and kitten heels, and silky dresses and stilettos. A lady with ultra-styled hair, a silky dress showing off her figure, and high heels that made her wiggle as she walked. I blinked behind my glasses. I knew that lady. I'd seen her before. It was Justine Littlewood. Who are you staring at, Jess? Mum asked, rushing past with a fry-up in either hand. Oh, no one in particular, I said quickly. But Mum was looking through the window herself now, with a flick of her fancy hair. Justine Littlewood turned her head and saw us standing there, staring out. For a moment she looked shocked. Then she started smiling. She stood there, hands on her hips, shaking her head. She looked Mum up and down, clearly taking in her shiny face and tousled hair, her apron, the two fry-ups. She mouthed the one word at Mum. Loser.
Shocking.
There was a crash, two crashes, as both plates of food landed on the floor, tomatoes and baked beans and egg yolk spraying at her legs. I'm not sure Mum even noticed she dropped them. She ran outside, though I yelled at her to come back. She ran right up to Justine Littlewood, who took a couple of steps backwards, looking alarmed. She wasn't quick enough. Mum's legs shot out and up. One foot flew through the air. Justine Littlewood wobbled on in her high heels and landed slap bang on her bottom. Mum's kickboxing classes hadn't been in vain. Chapter 19. Is he doing nighttime, daytime? Okay. Fred said, Mum. Fred said, Mum. Had to go right that minute. He said he didn't want members of his staff brawling with the general public. Thank you very much. It's not Mum's fault. That lady is her worst enemy. She stole her fiancé, explained. But he wouldn't listen. Fred counted out Mum's small wage packet in an insulting fashion and thrust it at her. Come on, get out of here and take your bratty daughter with you. When we got outside, both of us bright red in the face. Justin Elwood came trotting up. I've dialed 999. I'm going to say have you for assault, Tracy Beaker. I've got witnesses, haven't I? She appealed to various groping passers-by. They all saw you attack me. It's a wonder I didn't break my legs. I'm going to A&E to get myself x-rayed, just to make sure. As it is, I'm going to be bruised all over. In fact, I bet the police will go for grievous bodily harm. How dare you? Just shut your face, you screaming little toad, said Mum, taking my hand. Come on, Jess. I didn't have to scheme much. Sean just fell into my arms. Justin Letwood called after us. He's so glad to be rid of you. Do you know that? We're blissfully happy here and me, and we're going to business together. I've made a success of my life, J.C. Beaker. It looks like you've messed things up every which way. Loser, loser. I felt Mum twitch. Come away, Mum. Please, please, please don't kick her again. I begged, pulling her. Quick, before a policeman comes. Oh, Mum, don't get arrested. Mum saw that I was frantic, so she let me lead her away, while Justin Letwood screamed abuse at us. Hurry, Mum, I kept urging her. She wouldn't have called the police, she's just bluffing. And I didn't kick her. I didn't even touch her. She just fell over because she lost her balance. I wish to goodness I had kicked her now, said Mum, furiously, but she kept pace with me. All the way home I was terrified the police were after us. I couldn't even relax when we were in the car because it was so terribly distinctive. I kept hearing sounds behind us. We had to leave the car miles away from the Duke estate. As we were trudging along the pavement, I heard a wailing noise. Oh, Mum, run! Let's hide in the park! Quick! I yelled. It's not the police, Jess. It's an ambulance. See? It's okay, she said. I breathed out so hard I felt dizzy. Here. Mum took my bag and gave me a quick hug. I'm sorry, Jess. I didn't mean to frighten you so. I'm a terrible mother. No, you're not. You're the best mother in the world, I insisted. I went on saying it when we were back in our flat, but Mum couldn't seem to take it in. She sat on the sofa and kept shaking her head. She called me a loser, Jess. And she's right, I am a loser. I've made a mess of everything. I never had a proper job or relationship. I've always thought the one thing I could be proud of was being a good mum. And then I go scaring you to death every time I lose my temper. She said. It's not your fault you've got anger issues, Mum. It's because you didn't have a proper mum looking after you, I said, sitting beside her. Neither did Justine, and Sean certainly didn't have a proper mum. Yet they've both made a big success of their lives. It's just me, said Mum. And she hid her face in her hands. She said no matter how hard I tried to cheer her up. She got a Monday to Friday job in a big coffee shop straight away, but she didn't like it because she had to make coffees all day and didn't get a chance to talk to the customers. But it's a job and I get paid, even though it's a pittance, she said. She tried to be friends with the girls who worked there, but they were both in their teens and very giggly. They're okay, but they treat me like I'm an old lady, said Mum. I suppose I am in their eyes. Don't be daft, Mum. You're still young. Well, youngish, I says. You look young anyway. No, I don't. I look like an old bag, she said. She wasn't looking that great, actually. All her sparkle had gone. She was very pale, and she was getting thinner so that her t-shirts hung off her, and her jeans were baggy round the bottom. Even her hair lost its spring and drooped limply. Tell you what, said Cam, when we paid our daily visit to Alfie, how would you like to go to a spa and have a lovely massage? I went with Mary. I thought I'd hate it, but it was absolutely heaven. You could get your hair done and your nails painted. Cam was certainly looking great. It's not my sort of thing, said Mum. However, much would it cost? I'm not sure. Mary paid for me, but it could be my birthday treat to you. No thanks, said Mum. So what would you like for your birthday? Cam persisted. I'm not bothered for my birthday this year. Don't be daft, you always love it when it's your birthday, said Cam. What shall we do next Saturday? Shall I throw you a party? Oh yes, I said. Oh no, said Mum. I don't even think of a surprise party, because the surprise will be the birthday girl walking straight out. How many times do I have to say it? I'm ignoring all birthdays from now on. No celebrations whatsoever? Cam asked. What's there to celebrate? Not even cards or presents? I asked in a tiny voice. I've already spent ages secretly making Mum a card, a picture of the earth, a round blue and green globe. It was right in the bottom and quite small, like all my drawings, but I'd drawn a giant Mum standing on top of it and taking up the rest of the space. In my best handwriting, I've written, Happy birthday to the best Mum in the world. I'd also made her a present out of an old cornflake packet. It was a little house with a cardboard furniture where Mum and Alfie and I might live in the future. Cam saw my face. Maybe other people want to celebrate your birthday, Tracy, she said sharply. So what? It's my birthday and I can do what I want on the 8th of May. And I want to do a big fat nothing. Cam sighed. I learned long ago that there's no arguing with you when you're in this mood. Let's drop it. However, when we came to take Alfie for his walk on Friday the 7th of May, Cam invited us to stay for tea, and she made a cake. It was a lovely jam and cream sponge with white icing on top. She decorated it with strawberries and written in red icing, This is not a birthday cake, Tracy. Oh, Cam, said Mum. You don't give up, do you? You know I don't, she said. It's an absolutely beautiful, not a birthday cake, Cam, I said. And you don't have to share it with... What was the name of that little kid with the same birthday as you, Cam asked. He was called Weedy Peter, I said. That's right, you don't have to share your cake with him. You were so mean to him, poor little devil. Yet he thought the world of you, Tracy. It was because Mum didn't want to share the birthday wish, I said. Well, this cake doesn't have candles, obviously, but I dare say Mum can have a wish if she cuts the first slice, says Cam. For goodness sake, I'm not a little kid anymore, Mum snapped. Okay, you have a wish you can have a wish instead, Jess. So I cut the cake, closing my eyes, tight, and wished with all my might. I wish Mum would cheer up and we could go back to being happy again. The cake was delicious. The best cake ever. Even better than Rosaline's coffee and walnut. I ate 2 big slices, but Mum only had a very small slice, and then she left half. Isn't it? It's lovely, isn't it, Mum? I said. Yes, thank you very much, Cam, but really, you shouldn't have bothered, said Mum, in a very flat voice. I'd rather wish I hadn't bothered either, said Cam, her cheeks pink. She was getting angry with Mum, and yet, when we said goodbye, she pressed an envelope into Mum's hand. I said, no birthday card, said Mum. It's not a card. Look inside, Mum, I said. You look, she said, shrugging. It was 50 whole pounds. Buy yourself something special, Cam said. Stop it, Cam. You'll make me cry, said Mum. You're Tracy Beaker. You never cry. I cried a bit when I had to say goodbye to Alfie, like I did nearly every time. I just couldn't help it, especially when we whimpered. Cam promised me that he only cried for a minute or so, and then he cheered up and ate his supper and played with the girls and slept all night curled up on his cushion. But I still worried about him dreadfully. Still, the next day was Saturday, so I could be with him all day long. I woke up early and lay curled up tight in bed, wondering if my wish had come true. I decided to make Mum breakfast in bed for a special surprise. I so wanted to make her happy. I made tea, being very careful with the kettle. And I made toast too, cutting Mum's 2 slices into heart shapes. They were a bit lopsided, but they looked quite good. Once I spread them with butter and strawberry jam. Wakey, wakey, Mum, I said, carrying the tray carefully into the bedroom. Shh, Jess, it's Saturday. We don't have to get up early, Mum mumbled from under the duvet. But, Mum, let's go back to sleep. But I've made you breakfast. What? Oh, Jess, I'm not really hungry. I'm too tired. I've turned your toast into a special surprise, I muttered. Mum sighed and sat up. Show me, she said. I put the tray on her lap. Do you see? I've made you little hearts, I said. Yes, thank you. Mum didn't sound surprised, or even pleased, but she sipped her tea and nibbled half of one piece of toast. Does it taste better like that? I asked. I suppose so. And I know you don't want anyone to go on about your BIRTHDAY, but I've got you a card and a present that says, can I show you? If you must. I went to fetch them. I showed Mum the card of her and the world. It didn't look quite as good as I'd hoped. Mum nodded at it and gave me a weird sort of smile, but she didn't seem to like it. Then I showed her the little cardboard house. It was a bit wobbly, so I stood it on the tray. See, it's our house, Mama says. What do you mean, our house? She said dully. The house we'll have later on, you, me and Alfie. I've drawn all 3 of us. And how are we going to get this house, eh? Mum asked. Will we pay it with cardboard money? Don't be like that, Mum. We will get a house one day, you'll see. A little one, where we can have Alfie with us. No, we won't, she says. It's never going to happen, Jess. We're going to stay stuck here in this hateful, mouldy dump, she said despairingly and thumped the duvet hard. The tray jerked, her mug toppled over, and the cardboard house was flooded with brown liquid, itself buckling. Our house, I started crying. Oh, for goodness sake, it's only cardboard. You can make another one, said Mum. No, I can't, I shouted suddenly. There's no point. I made it especially for you, and I tried so hard to make it look good. And you don't even like it? You won't even pretend? Well, I'm not pretending anymore, either. You're spoiling everything. You were horrid to Cam last night, and now you're being horrid to me. It's not my fault Sean Joffrey cheated on you. We were so happy before you met him. Why can't you be happy again now? You won't even try. You're just giving up. You're meant to be the great Tracy Beaker, who gets the better of everyone, but you're just hopeless and mean and sorry for yourself. Look, I've written on your card that you're the best woman in the world, but it's not true, not anymore. You old rubbish, Mum. I took hold of the card and ripped it in 2, and then I ran out of the bedroom. I went to my room and pushed my chair hard against the door so it couldn't be opened, and then I threw myself on the bed and cried and cried. I was clutching Wolfer, and I cried so hard I made him soggy. Every now and then I stopped sobbing to catch my breath, and heard Mum moving about, and then the sound of the bath running. I cried some more, and then curled up tight in a ball, my chin on my knees. I couldn't believe I'd said all that. I'd never ever said anything as bad to Mum. I felt like my whole head might explode. I don't care. I'm sick of her. She is rubbish, Mum. Rubbish, rubbish, rubbish. I worshipped, but I was starting to feel shivery and with worry. I listened again. I couldn't hear anything now. Was Mum alright? It was a big relief when I heard her coming out of the bathroom. I stayed in bed, hiccuping, though I stopped crying now. Then there was a little knock on my bedroom door. Jess, can I come in? I didn't answer. I heard Mum jogging the door handle. Jess, are you alright? She called. She sounded anxious. I pressed my lips together. Jess, Mum was pushing at the door now. The chair suddenly toppled over and the door opened, and she came over to my bed. Hey, Jess. She lifted up the duvet and peered in at me. I'm sorry, baby. I am a rubbish Mum. Not really, I whispered. Not really. I deserve a good kick up the bum. Yes, I'll kickbox myself. Okay, watch. She jumped off the bed. I watched as she leaped into the air, doing a couple of her crazy back kicks, aiming for her bottom. Mom, you'll hurt yourself, you mad thing. Good, Jess. I'm so sorry, sweetheart. I've been so selfish and pathetic, but I'm going to pull myself together now. See? She pulled out her own arms and legs. There, that's better. Now let's find some sellotape to see if we can stick your beautiful car together. And maybe I can blow dry the little house with my hairdryer and make it as good as new. I love it, I really do. Please forgive me. Of course I do, I says. We had a big, big hug. Mum's hair was still wet from the bath, and my cheeks were still wet with tears, but neither of us minded. When I was washed and dressed, we had another cup of tea, and Mum insisted on eating up her other strawberry heart-shaped slice of toast, even though it had gone cold. It's totally yummy, she says. Hey, Jess, I think I want to celebrate my birthday after all. We could spend Cam's present. Let's have a day out together, you and me. Oh, yes, and Alfie. Definitely Alfie. Let's go and collect him. It was still only 8 o'clock when we drove round to Cam's. All the girls were still fast asleep, but Cam and Alfie were up, and Miss Oliver was already there. We're going on another hike, said Cam. We're not taking Alfie again, are you? I asked anxiously. He had come back exhausted from his first one. How do you want to spend the day with Alfie, Mary and me, or Jess and Tracy, said Cam. Alfie came bounding over to me. Oh, Alfie, you clever dog, I said, making Mum and I look for him for a walk in the park first so he can stretch his legs, and then we secured him safely in the back of the Cadillac. So where are we going, Mum? I asked. I don't really know, she says. You choose, Jess. Now it's your birthday, you have to say where. I can't think, not a town. What about the country somewhere? Alfie would like that. Or, I know, the seaside. It's not very sunny, but it might brighten up later. Do you fancy a trip to the sea? Yes, please. Alfie's never seen the sea. He'll be so excited. I remember the first time I saw the sea. Mike took all us kids from the dumping ground camping for a week. It was magic. I couldn't believe the sea was so huge. I went charging into the water for a paddle without even bothering to take off my shoes and socks. I was a right nutter when I was still little. Still am. Shall we go there then? That same beach, I suggested. Good idea, Mum looked at a map of the coast on her phone. Ah, this is it. Coxie. It's only a little place. It hasn't got a pier or a big amusement arcade or anything like that, but it's still okay. Let's go for it, I says. So we did. Final chapter. Yay! Mum put on her shades and we pretended we were movie stars driving along in our pink Cadillac. Mum drove fast so our hair tangled in mad curls and our cheeks grew pink. We started singing daft old pop songs. Mum often forgot the words and I didn't know them anyway, but it didn't matter. We made up new crazy words like oh la la lad. People stared at us singing away in our flamingo pink car, Some of the drivers tooted and people on the pavement waved. We tooted and waved back. Watch out, the beaker babes are in your area, Mum yelled. We're here to have fun. We are having fun, aren't we, Mum? I asked. You bet we are, she says. Let's make the most of it. We may have to sell the car to keep us going. But it's your special car, Mum. The kind you always wanted right from when you were a little girl, I reminded her. I'm a big girl now, and I have to think of boring things like the rent and new shoes for you and school trips. And I think you need new glasses because you're always frowning nowadays, said Mum. My shoes still fit, sort of, but anyway, my feet will soon be big enough to wear your shoes. The with sparkly high tops. I don't want to go on any stupid school trips because I haven't got any proper friends. Now, not even Tyrone. Not that I care. And I don't need new glasses, honest. I've been frowning because I was worried, but I'm not worried anymore because my birthday wish came true. I wished you'd be happy again, and you are. Yes, I am, said Mum, but she put her foot down and we zoomed along even faster. Not too fast, Mum. Alfie stood whimpering and fidgeting in the back. I think he needs a wee, I says, craning along anxiously. Mum stopped at the next lay-by and I walked Alfie along the grass verge, where he did lots of wheeze. There were several lorries parked there. The drivers were having breakfast at the refreshment hut. They all gathered round to admire their Cadillac as they munched their bacon rolls. We already had our strawberry hearts, but the bacon rolls smelled so delicious we had a second breakfast, while Mum chatted to the lorry drivers. They all wanted to peer inside the bonnet and stroke the Cadillac's shiny pink sides the way I stroked Alfie. Lovely car you got there, said one of the drivers. He had big blue eyes and a big white smile, and a lovely little girl and a lovely dog. And you're quite lovely too. What's your name, miss? Tracy Beaker, said Mum, and it's Miss, not Miss. It's going to stay Mrs. for now. Come on, Jess, back in the car. See you guys. That man fancied you, I said as we set off again. Yep, said Mum, but do you fancy him? Nope, I'm not going to get involved with any more men. We're fine just as we are, you and me. Mum paused, waiting for me to open my mouth. And Alfie, we said in unison. There was country and all us now, rolling green hills as far as you could see. The sky seemed much bigger and bluer than it was in London, and the sun made everything look as bright. It was as if we had landed in Munchkinland. We couldn't have picked a better day for the seaside, said Mum. Not far now. I remember this hilly part from when I was a little kid. Mike took us hiking and we were all completely knackered by the time we got to the top of that big hill over there. Then on the way back we walked across a meadow and Justine stepped on a cow pat and we all fell about laughing. Are you sure you didn't push her, Mum? I asked. Me? She said, grinning. Maybe I gave her just a little shove, accidentally on purpose. You're bad, Mum. When are we going to see the sea then? Soon, said Mum. We drove through a little village. Oh yes, Mike took us to have cake in a tea shop here, and we had to swear we'd be on our best behaviour so as not to show him up, said Mum. Hey, shall we stop now and have a cake, Mum? My birthday cake, suggested. I'm still too full of bacon rolls, said Mum, and I'm not sure about Alfie's manners in a tea shop. He might play tug with the tablecloths and slobber on the scones. Anyway, we're nearly there. We'll see the sea in a minute. We drove up such a steep hill that the car jolted in protest. But when we got to the top, there was a wonderful view of fields stretching out to the sky, with the sea glittering silver in front of us. Is this Coxie? I cried. Oh, Mum, it looks lovely. Oh, I do like to be beside the seaside, Mum sang and pretended to be a trumpet for the tidally pom-pom-pom part. I sang, my bonnie lies over the ocean, my bonnie lies over the sea, and did all the hand gestures too. Very good, said Mum. Are you making up all these gestures? No, Miss Oliver taught us, I said. I do like her, especially now she's Cam's friend. I like her too, said Mum. How could I ever have called her a bossy old bag? You were awful, Mum. I know, that was a terrible thing to say, even for me. I'm so glad you like her now. She's different when she's not being a teacher anyway. It doesn't matter what I think, it just matters what that Cam likes her. So long as she doesn't like her more than us. She's our Cam, isn't she, Mum? Of course she is. Fancy her getting into this rambling lark. They were going on a 12-mile hike today, imagine. Alfie's much happier being with us. He doesn't have walking boots like Cam and Miss Oliver. I'm sure his paws must have ached dreadfully after all that hiking, I said. When we parked the car on the seafront and let Alfie loose on the beach, he bounced about like a puppy. He gamboled over the pebbles, sniffing ecstatically, ran to meet all the other dogs on the beach, and then dashed forwards towards the sea. He leaped over the shiny waves at the edge, barking with joy. I took off my shoes and socks and paddled with him. Mum did too, rolling up her jeans and splashing about like a little kid. She got quite wet, but she didn't seem to mind. We sat down on the pebbles for a while and threw stones into the sea. Mum was good at finding flat stones that skimmed the water 3 or 4 times before sinking. I searched for shells without much luck, but found a pebble with a perfect round hole in the middle. I peered through it. I spied my little eyes from the beginning with TV. I said, let me see. Terrible ball? Total blockhead?
I know what it is, I know what it is.
Trinical bimbo? Mum joked. It's Tracy Beaker, silly. I said, are you having a good birthday, Mum? It's the best one. The best ever. It was getting rather cloudy and we were still damp, so we went for a walk along the promenade to warm up. We had races. Alfie always came first and laughed at us, his tongue lolling. I came last, but I didn't mind. Near the cliffs we saw a long row of beach huts, all painted different colours. Aren't they lovely? If we had one, which colour would you choose, Mum? I asked. Red, this one, with the white conch shell above the door, she said. Yes, it's definitely the best. I wish it wasn't all shut up so we could see inside. Do you think anyone actually lives there? I asked. Mum shrugged. It looks empty to me. Do you think we could live there? I suddenly felt excited. Oh, Mum, it would be wonderful. I know it's very little, but we're not very big, are we? I'm sure the day we could use it as a sofa.
Word help.
No, I'm just lost. I'm gonna start the sentence again.
Do you think
Yeah, I'm gonna start it again. Do you think you could live there? I suddenly felt excited. Oh, Mum, it would be wonderful. I know it's very little, but we're not very big, are we? I'm sure there would be space for a bed. Now we get there.
There we go.
Just about. And during the day we could use it as a sofa. And Alfie could live with us because there are heaps of dogs there. Think how we'd like to have doggy friends to play tug with. And we could do paddling every day. It would be so brilliant. Beach huts don't have toilets, Jess. There's bound to be public toilets somewhere. They don't have proper cooking facilities either. We don't need to cook. We could eat fish and chips every day, I insisted. You can't live in a beach hut for nothing. You have to buy them, said Mum. Couldn't we save up? Maybe sell a car? Beach hut costs thousands and hundreds of pounds. Seriously? Yep. Oh, I thought for a moment. I do wish you'd kept Sean Jaffrey's engagement ring. I keep thinking that too, said Mum. Especially if Justin's husband Snatch Littlewood's wearing it now. Mum, do you still mind terribly? I asked in a tiny voice. She pulled her face. I suppose so. I do love him. Maybe I still do. I hate him now, too. And it was so terribly... What's going on over there?
I don't know. Them two are have been fighting for the last couple of minutes.
Oh, silence, so Oliver/Oliver. What's going on?
This one was smelling my little butt.
Why are you smelling his butt?
It's a cat thing. Hey, not an owl thing.
And that's a dog thing, not a cat thing. Yeah, it's a dog thing, not a cat thing. I've never seen a cat do it. I've never seen a dog do it. Don't know. So please don't do it. Please stop hitting people.
Hey, I was tapping his back.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. Can I continue?
Tracy bakes a donut. Tracy bakes a donut.
Can I continue?
Yes.
Stop hitting. Oh. She pulled a face. I suppose so. Hit each other one more time and you're separating each other. She pulled a face. I suppose so. I did love him. Maybe I still do. Oh. Though I hate him now too. And it was so heavenly. Everybody envying us and not having to worry about money. To be honest, I miss that the most. I don't miss it one little bit, I said. Well, I'm glad because it was mostly for you. I wanted you to have the home you deserve, Jess. I'm fine, just so long as we're together, I said. It's awful. You always end up having to reassure me, said Mum. What now?
He ate my foot.
He what?
He ate my foot.
He ate your foot? Give it back. To him. And block so nobody hits each other. That's what mums should do, not daughters. Who says? We're the Beaker babes, we do it our way. I said, race you? Bet I win this time. I did, but I think Mum and Alfie let me. Then the sun came back out and we sat on a bench and did some sunbathing. Are you still full of bacon roll, Mum? I asked hopefully. No, I'm getting quite peckish now.
So am I.
It must be from all that running, she said. You know, I said we could have fish and chips every day. I said, do you think we could have fish and chips? Great idea, said Mum. We wandered into town looking for our fish and chips. Then we took our car boxes into a park and sat on a bench and ate our lovely lunch. While Alfie ran around in circles with the other dogs, coming back every few minutes for a morsel of fish or half a chip. I think this is the best fish and chips. I said, swinging my legs happily. Absolutely, said Mum. She patted her tummy. I'm full of bursting now. Shall we go for a little munch around the town? That was munch around the town.
Munch on the town.
Munch
on the town.
Okay. And see if they've got any junk shops. The high street just had no ordinary shops. W.H. Smith and Boots. And pawn shops! But there were more interesting ones in the other little side streets. There were a jewellery shop that sold second-hand necklaces and bracelets and rings. Mum sighed over the price of the tiny diamonds. Mine was such a biggie, she said. Still, I'm not going to keep looking back and dwelling on the past. Maybe that's why I fell for Sean. I got carried away remembering us as kids and how different we were then. It made me feel fond of him right from the start. You didn't feel fun adjusting that word, and she's part of the past too, I pointed out. True. Do you know something? It's time I grew up years ago. I'm going to make a conscious effort to forget all about my childhood. Give me a quick slap about the chops if I ever say the word stomping ground again, said Mum. We turned a corner, went down another alleyway, and stared open-mouthed at the shop ahead of us. We stared. It was double-fronted and very shabby. The windows were dirty. But we could see that it was packed to the ceiling with all kinds of junk. All wicker chairs and battered suitcases and faded satin eider downs, and spotted mirrors and plaster ducks and pictures of ladies with green faces. But we weren't focusing on things in the shop window. We were looking at the sign above it. It announced its name in scrolling writing. The dumping ground. Forgot to my eye. Does it really say that, Mum? I said, blinking. Or are my eyes playing tricks on me? Maybe I do need new glasses after all. That's what it says, alright. What a weird coincidence. Still, it can't be anything to do with my children's home. It's just a clever name for a junk shop. All the stuff here has been dumped, right? Let's go in and have a rummage, yeah? We opened the door cautiously and peered into the gloom. The bell above the door twinkled. The huge velvet cushions covered an ancient sofa suddenly moved. A Mum and I stepped back in alarm. Oliver? What are you doing?
They is pecking my knee.
Why are you pecking his knee?
Because I see I can't attack him, I can attack someone else.
Okay, boundary, no attacking Kieran. Or anyone else? Or anything else? The cushions heaved themselves upright and a head appeared at the top. Hello, my darling, said the lady, as if we were her best friends and she'd been expecting us for ages. She was very large and wore a leather, goody, long green velvet dress with a silky yellow shawl round her shoulders. The
Oh.
Yes, that was there. Fringing England.
I think so.
The fringing England coming away. Fringing coming away. She looked as if she'd been reclining all the sofa for many years. When she eased herself up with the help of two ebony sticks, we saw that she could barely walk, her large feet spilling out of her slippers. She had several ropes of amber beads dangling over her very big front, and a pair of glasses instead of her locket hanging from a gold chain. She propped the specs on her nose and peered at us. Do come in and have a rummage. She spoke in a very dramatic way, waving her arms about, though this affected her balance and she nearly toppled over. Mum wished to help her. Thank you so much, darling. I always forget I need these wretched sticks nowadays. Never have a stroke, dear. Total misery. Here I am, day after day, positively marooned, a heap of blubber, though inside I'm still skipping round like a teenager. Settle me back on the sofa or I'll fall bum over bottom and become even more of an old crock, she declared. Mum did her best to do as the shop lady suggested, though it was quite a struggle. Alfie watched with interest, and when she was settled again, he tried to jump up beside her. No, Alfie, down, Mum and I shouted. Yes, Alfie, up, said the lady, patting the sofa with her hand. She had a ring-sized squeezed into every finger and they clattered together. For once, Alfie did as he was told and jumped up, though there was hardly any space for him on the sagging sofa. He landed mostly on the lady's large tummy, but she didn't seem to mind a bit. What a lovely, funny little chap. He is a boy, isn't he? From this angle, can't see if he's got a willy, she said. I've never heard an old lady say two rude words in the space of a minute, especially in such a posh, fruity voice. I looked round at Mum, and certainly she was grinning. Yes, he's a boy. His name's Alfie, and he's certainly taken a shine to you, she said. Oh, darling, once upon a time old chaps made a fuss of me, but now I count myself lucky. If a little dog snuggles up to me when customers come into the shop, not that I get many customers nowadays, and who can blame them? Everything is such a pickle. The shop lady waved her hands dismissively and set her rings clanking. What do you want now?
I'm just intrigued.
Okay. Well, we'd love to have a look round, said Mum. Certainly, certainly. Have a good poke.
Oh, God.
If you don't see anything you fancy, and who could blame you? These cupboards and chests and cardboard boxes, all crammed fit to bursting. Only you haven't got room to display them. And in any case, these silly old hands are too clumsy. Last time I tried, I broke the spout of a rare Clarice Cliff teapot and smashed a French porcelain doll to smithereens. So Mum and I edged our way through a maze of chairs and tables and trunks and looked at everything, while Alfie sat with the lady like a perfect little lapdog. Just tip him off if he's quashing you, said Mum. Never, he's such a little treasure, the lady declared. I love dogs. Reminds me of my dear Chin Chin. He was the love of my life, a black and white Japanese chin. Went everywhere with me, when I could still get around, and after my stroke, he scarcely left my side. It broke my heart when he died. I was desperate for another, but I couldn't walk a dog in this state, so it wouldn't be fair. Life isn't fair, is it, girls? In fact, life can be a real what's it. It certainly can, said Mum, laughing. A total what's it. They didn't actually say the word what's it. They said something much ruder, but Mum caught my eye. Don't ever let me hear you saying that, Jess, she said. We went on looking. Have you seen anything you want, Mum? I whispered. You should pick yourself a birthday present. We've still got heaps of Cum's money left. You must pick something too. Everything's very reasonable priced, Mum whispered back. I spent ages rummaging and eventually decided on a blue china bunny with big ears, just like the one Alice had in her bedroom. One of his paws was a bit broken, but I didn't mind. Mum dithered over an old leather suitcase and a silky cameo and a baseball jacket, but eventually chose an old doll with blue eyes and thinning yellow hair and a torn dress. But you don't even like dolls, Mum, I said, surprised. Yes, I know, but this one's a little like the one I had when I was a little girl, my Bluebell. I loved her, said Mum. Then she hissed. But she's only £10, a total bargain. She's worth heaps more, even though she's so shabby. The shop lady seemed delighted when we showed her our choices. She paid the price tags. I'll knock off a bit, seeing as you're like old friends already, she said. You can have the doll for £8 and the little Sylviex bunny for £2, seeing as he's got a chip on his paw. That's a tenner, if you please. Mum looked at me. I looked at her. We hesitated. They were almost too much of a bargain. It is too much, dears, the lady asked. Are we going to haggle? Mum nibbled her lip. It's not enough, she said. Not nearly enough. You mean you want to pay more? Yes, said Mum. Our prices are far too generous. The shop lady shrieked with laughter. Oh my, this is interesting. Haggling. Don't be so silly. Give me the tenner and take your doll and your bunny and no more nonsense. Tell you what, if you feel really badly, you can make me a cup of tea, because I'm gasping. Certainly, said Mum. There's a little room at the back. You'll see the kettle. Excuse all my washing things. I camp down here nowadays. Can't manage the stairs. Make a cup for yourself too, and the kiddie. Do you drink tea, dear? She asked me. Yes, please, I said. And what's your name? I'm Jess. Pretty. I used to know a lady called Jessamine Hart. I don't suppose the name rings any bells with you girls, but she was reasonably well known in her day. An actress, though she didn't have much talent, poor dear. You just an impressive figure in a way with men. Do you know the type? She asked. Oh yes, Mum called from the little kitchen. I wonder if you've heard of Florence Garland, the shop lady asked. Yes, she was an actress. You may have seen her most famous film on the telly, Death of a Lady. She was a lady and she died beautifully, even though I say so myself. She was on the stage too, mostly drawing room comedies, but she did some Shakespeare too. She once toured as Rosalind and got rave reviews in all the papers. I've got them stuck in a scrapbook somewhere. When she was a little older, she did sitcom. She was the comical cleaning lady for 7 series of Life with the Lilliputs. She put her head on one side and started talking in a funny Cockney accent. Hello, dearies. Let me slosh a bit of disinfectant on all your mucky corners. That was my catchline. People used to shout it after me in the street. So you're Florence Garland, said Mum, coming to peer at her. I used to be. Now I'm simply poor old Flo, who hasn't had a part in years. I had a tough time. Had to do some waitressing, which played havoc with my feet. Ever done waitressing, dear? She asked Mum. Yes, it's a killer. I'm working in a coffee shop now, and that's even worse. Flo chuckled sympathetically. And that's your name, darling, Tracy Beaker. And there's a name with a familiar ring. You haven't been on the telly, have you? Oh, there was some documentary about me when I was a kid, said Mum, going back to make the tea. Oh, said Flo, so why did they feature your mum, Pet? She wasn't one of those sickening kids phenomenons who speak 20 languages and do advantage of algebra when they were 5. No, I think it was because she was in a children's home, I said. Yes, and you'll never guess what we used to call it, said Mum, coming in with a tray and 3 different china cups with odd saucers, though they all had pretty floral patterns and fancy gold rims. The dumping ground. Oh my, would you believe it? I don't give the shop the name, mind you. It's a bit too basic for my taste. I'd called it something like Florence's Antique Emporium, only it wasn't mine when it started up. It was run by a dear soul called Archie Williams. Arthur, actually, but he always hated the name. He was in the theatre too. I don't know him for years. I've known him for years. He retired and bought himself this little antique shop by the sea, and when I was on my beam ends, he helped me out, bless him. I moved in and we got on like a house on fire. But then poor Artie had a heart attack, and I discovered he'd left me the shop in his will. I went to all the big antique fairs, even bought a van and did house cleanses. But a couple of years ago I had my stroke, and now it's a devil of a struggle to keep going, Flo sighed. If only I had someone to help me out. But no one seems interested in working in a junk shop anymore. Mum looked at me. I looked at her. Alfie looked up at both of us. What is it, dears? Flo asked, sipping. Ah, this is the ticket. You make a lovely cup of tea, Tracy Beaker. Look, this is probably a ridiculous suggestion. You can just say no if you're not 100% keen on the idea. But how about me working here with you? I could go around looking for stock and tidy up the shop a bit, and I could help you with the chores. What do you think, Mum asked. What do I think? I think it's a tremendous idea, said Flo, spelling her tea down her large front. She dabbed herself with the shawl. I couldn't pay you that much, of course, but you could have free accommodation upstairs. If it's just for you and your little Jess, though, I dare say it's all in a bit of a mess. Hop upstairs and have a look at it. See what you think. There was a bedroom and a little box room and a bathroom and a bit tired and musty. But we could scrub all the rooms and paint them and make them look great in no time, said Mum. And just think what we could do with the shop. We could display everything cleverly and make it look great, like a giant version of our flat. It's the job of my dreams, and I think I'll actually be good at it. What do you think, Jess? I know it's completely mad, but shall we give it a go? But how will I get to school, Mum? You could go to a new school, would you mind? Well, I won't like leaving Miss Oliver. Yes, but you'll still see her now she's Cam's friend, and after this term you won't be in her class anyway. This is our chance, Jess. A new start, and Flo likes Alfie, so we could have him here with us all the time, said Mum. Then yes, 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 let's, I cried. When we went back downstairs, there was a lot more discussion. Alfie started to get a bit fidgety, so I took him for a walk up and down the street, promising not to cross any roads or talk to strangers. Will you like living here, Alfie? I asked him. Alfie sniffed happily, zigzagging backwards and forwards. It was clear that he thought Cooksey was dog heaven, especially if he could go for a run on the beach every day. It was my idea of heaven too, so long as we could still see Camelots. We could visit her in the car, and maybe at the weekends we could come and hike along the cliffs with Miss Oliver. Perhaps Maria could bring Ava and Alison. We could all play on the beach together. We could ask Rosaline to come on her day off. She could lie in a deck chair in the sun and have a bit of a rest. I might even invite Tyrone, but only if he promised not to go on and on about Sean Joffrey. Mum and Flo were still making plans when Alfie and I got back, and then we talked for ages, afterwards as well. They were both getting so excited. Mum jumped about and Flo rattling their jewellery. We had lots more cups of tea and some rather stale biscuits, and before we left, Mum made Flo her supper. It was a microwave ready meal for one, so Flo couldn't share it with us, though she wanted to. When we came to live here, I'll make you lots of lovely freshly cooked meals, Flo, Mum promised. Do you ever make roasts, darling? That's what I miss most of all, she said. You wait till you taste Mum's roast potatoes, I said. I'm puzzly drooling at the thought, said Flo. Oh dears, I'm not dreaming, am I? This is all too marvellous for words. You will come back, won't you? Promise? Promise, 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 said Mum. We've got stuff to sort out, but we'll come back next Saturday, and I'll be phoning you heaps in between to let you know how things are going. She gave Flo a kiss, and I did too. Bless you, Jess. You two seem like family already. And Flo getting a little weepy. The daughter and granddaughter I never had. Mum already had two mums, and I had two grannies, but we were happy. And to add Flo to our family, I feel we're dreaming too, said Mum as we walked back to where we parked the Cadillac on the seafront. It's just all too good to be true. Let's move in as quick in case Flo changes her mind. And it won't matter if you miss a few weeks of school, will it? It would do you good to have a proper holiday, sweetheart. I'm not sure what Miss Oliver is going to say, I said. She'll say I'll have responsibility issues, said Mum, laughing. And she'll probably right too. Still, I'm going to try to be the best mum in the world. We're going to be so happy here, Jess. I just know it. You, me and Alfie. And no more Sean Joffreys, I daren't ask. Absolutely not. I've finished with men. I'm Tracy Beaker. I'm not going to be dependent on any guy. I'm going to make my own way in the world. And be a stroking great success too, said Mum. Hey, it's ages since we had those fish and chips.
Fish and chips!
Shall we have a meal here before we drive back? I'm not sure if they will let Alfie into a restaurant, but we could have a pub meal. You can take dogs into most pubs. Can we afford it, I asked. Probably not, but it is my birthday, and Mum and I feel like celebrating, said Mum, and I feel like celebrating. We stopped at the first pub we came to, just round the corner from the seafront. It was called the Spade and Bucket. Along each windowsill they had little children's books planted with red germans.
Well,
Journals, sorry.
Journals.
Yeah. On either side of the door was an umbrella stand full of seaside spades. Oh, Mum, it's just the sort of thing we'd do, I said. The pub was quite full, and when Mum asked the lady behind the bar if we could have a table in the restaurant part, she shook her head doubtfully. It's all booked up for a party, dear, she said. Oh, please, couldn't you squeeze us in somewhere? Mum asked. This is a really special day for us, and we'd love a meal to celebrate. We looked at her pleadingly. Alfie looked especially hopeful, giving a little expectant whimpers. The lady's face softened. Well, I dare say I could find you a corner at the back, she said. Follow me. The restaurant was full of laughing, joshing people, all crowded round a huge table. They didn't even notice us making our way over to a little table, which the lady set separately for us. Mum pulled her face when she looked at the menu. It's a bit pricier than I thought. Perhaps we should share mine. Is that okay? And drink tap water. But we pretend it's the very best champagne, I said. Deal, said Mum. We ordered spaghetti bolognese because it seemed like the most filling thing, and no one seemed to mind us sharing. In fact, I think the old lady made sure that our plate was piled really high in taste. It tasted wonderful, even wonderful, though it's always quite difficult to eat spaghetti ball tidily. I couldn't help dribbling a bit down my t-shirt. My hand was bright orange too, because I fed Alfie a little portion under the table. When our plate was empty, we felt really full. Yum, I said, rumbling my tummy. Yes, double yum, said Mum. I don't think I could manage any pudding even if we could afford it. Just as she said this, the lady came in carrying a great big cake with sprinkles on top. Oh my goodness, said Mum, a birthday cake. She must have guessed when I said we were celebrating. Oh, Jess, I'm having a birthday cake after all. And you can have your birthday wish, Mum. I haven't got anything left to wish for, said Mum. Still, I suppose I can think of something if I try hard. But the lady was taking the cake over to the big table, and all the people there were singing happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you. Oh no, it's not. It's not going to be him, is it? Weedy Peter. Oh, for goodness sake, Mum says, or words to that effect. It's someone else's birthday cake? She peered over at the table. Happy birthday, dear Peter, it is. Happy birthday to you. Peter, Mum explained. A slim, good-looking guy with fair hair, standing. Oh my God, it's Peter. Oh my God. Was standing up, smiling bashfully. It can't be, said Mum. He made an attempt to blow out all the candles when they stopped sparkling. He only managed a quarter of them. It is, said Mum. And she stood up and dashed over to the big table. Mum, what are you doing? I asked, trying to grab hold of her. She ran right up to the fair-haired man. Peter Ingram, she declared. You were always helpless at blowing out candles. Let me. She took a deep breath and blew hard. And every single candle went out. Tracy Beaker, he said. He looked as if he was going to throw his arms around Mum. But then he thought better of it and just flapped them awkwardly in the air. I was just thinking about you too. I saw this fantastic vintage pink Cadillac parked on the seafront. Remember you always used to go on about your mum coming to drive you away in a Cadillac? It's mine, said Mum. But what are you doing here, Peter? A while ago I came here on a nostalgic trip. Remember our camping holiday? And then I got a job just up the coast, and I live down here now, Tracy, he said. Is this the Tracy you always go on about? The one from the children's home? And the woman sitting next to him. She looked very pretty in her silky blue dress. Yep, that's me, said Mum. Are you Peter's partner? The whole table laughed. He's my boss. Oh, he will be next term. He's going to be our new head, he said. You're a headmaster, Peter? Mum asked incredibly. Oh, yeah, I know.
Cheater.
No. I'm just making sure it is the end. So you have only got one more page left. Okay. It's mad, isn't it? He said. These are my friends from the school. We're all teachers, so maybe you won't like us. What do you do now, Tracy? I always thought you'd be. Were you farting?
No, it's not me.
Did you fart?
I'm purring. Oh, you got your ears down.
Yeah, I know. It's mad, isn't it? He says. These are my friends from the school. We're all teachers, so maybe you won't like us. What do you do now, Tracy? I always thought you'd be a writer. You were so good at making up stories when you were a kid. I've done a bit of writing, yes, said Mum, but now I'm considering moving into the area as an antique dealer. And this is my daughter, Jess. He beckoned me over. Oh, good heavens. She's a spitting image of you. Hi, Jess. Are you as fierce as your mum? She used to scare me silly at times, Peter said, grinning. Yeah, she's good at that, I said. Come on, Pete, stop chatting up your old girlfriend and cut your cake. Someone shouted, and the others joined in. Peter went pink. Shh, you rowdy lot. He picked up a knife. Cut it with me, Tracy. We have a tradition to keep up. We share our birthday cake. So they cut it together, and then Mum closed her eyes, and I knew she was making a wish at last. I don't know what she wished for, but she won't tell me, but I hope it comes true. That's it.
Oh my god. Yay!
Okay. This is right on the edge of the chair. Okay, so. Here's random stuff.
Random stuff.
It's just called random stuff. He's
Summer saying hey.
yeah. Then random stuff saying hello. Random stuff you that's pooping. Then random stuff saying love you TikToks. Then random stuff saying please notice me.
I don't know who they are. Who's random stuff?
I'm gonna click on you once I finish this. So I'm gonna say bye and thank you for listening. This is now finished. So
Yay!
so I now might start. Actually, you know what? Since I enjoyed this so